As we've been reporting, the polls are tightening. I mean, it's dead even now. The NBC poll, the ABC poll, ABC had her up 2, NBC had them perfectly tied. Both were a slip from a 5-point Heritage advantage. So you can see for her team, though, tied is better than losing. She's going in the wrong direction. And you can tell because Vice President Kamala Harris is starting to think of desperation, as my friend Maureen used to say. She thinks of desperation. Not about her, but it's just about randos. I mean, why else would she be going on Fox News after being completely cloistered since she launched? Now she's going on Fox. She might go on Rogan. She's desperate. She's seeing something very alarming on her internals that we're just starting to see in the public polling. So in the context of all of this, yesterday her campaign rolled out a new-ish, kind of like revamped old attack that's sort of now a new attack against former President Donald Trump. And it's right in line with what we were told will be part of her new strategy, which is trying to demonize Trump. Welcome to the new strategy, same as the old one. Of course, it's been many years we have heard how Mr. Trump is a threat to democracy himself. He's going to end the Constitution, they say, taking out some random quote from some random tweet or Truth Social post. It's strange how I haven't heard him actually promising to do that or saying it over and over again on the campaign trail. But okay, that's what they want to go with. Though we're supposed to ignore all the things Kamala Harris said in writing and explicitly she wanted to do just in 2019. But that's how politics works. They're going over and over again how he'll use the Department of Justice to go after his political enemies. I mean, a party that did that would be absolutely horrid. You would never want them to win the White House, would you? But this new-ish line of attack is that Trump sees anyone who does not support him as a, quote, an enemy from within, against whom he might unleash the U.S. military. All right? That's where they've gone with some comments Trump has made on the campaign trail lately that do not say that. But when pulled out of context and bastardized, sure, you could make him say anything. Same as I could make an AI bot say anything. It began yesterday with a new ad released by the Harris campaign. Watch.
Donald Trump, more dangerous, more erratic than ever before.
Echoing fascists.
The worst people are the enemies from within.
The enemy from within are more dangerous than Russia.
We have some very bad people. It should be very easily handled by the military.
Trump's basically going to have the army show up at your front door if you don't vote for him. Sounds ominous. But we just decided to take a little fact check of the examples in that ad. In the first clip, you heard Mr. Trump say, the worst people are the enemies from within. The clip was taken from a rally he held in Coachella, California this past weekend. In the full clip, Mr. Trump was talking about Congressman Adam Schiff.
The worst people are the enemies from within. The sleazebags, like a guy that you're going to elect to the Senate, Shifty Adam Schiff. He's a sleazebag.
That's it. He doesn't like Adam Schiff. Who cares? What the voters need to remember, it was Congressman Schiff who pushed the Russian collusion lie for years against Trump. He eventually got censured for being a liar and said he wore it like a badge of honor. He's open about it. He promoted it all over MSNBC. Daytime, primetime, he couldn't get enough of the cameras to say how bad Trump was. He read the Steele dossier into the congressional record. And when the investigation fell apart, he never owned it. He never apologized. He never showed any remorse because he feels none. He tried to ruin Trump's first term with a phony lie about him being a Russian agent. Mr. Schiff has wanted to see Mr. Trump impeached, thrown out of office. He's been hoping and praying to see Donald Trump led away in handcuffs. So maybe that's why Donald Trump sees him as the enemy, because it's what Mr. Schiff loves to be when it comes to Donald Trump. So please spare me and keep that in mind when you see these dishonest ads. Next up in the ad, you hear Trump say, the enemy from within are more dangerous than Russia. This was taken from a rally in Wisconsin on October 6th. He was actually talking about fascists, Marxists, and communists that he believes are pulling the strings in Washington.
The enemy from within, The crazy lunatics that we have, the fascists, the Marxists, the communists, the people that we have that are actually running the country, not her. She's not running it, and Biden's not running it either, and you all know that. Those people are more dangerous, the enemy from within, than Russia and China.
This is a political argument. This is generic political argument. These people are our enemies. Same as he says, the press is the enemy of the people. They're working against the will of the people to undermine democracy. I mean, this is like the Democrats say this stuff all the time. This is not about arresting private citizens in their home or unleashing the Navy SEALs as you go for a swim in the Atlantic to come get you because you voted Trump. The last example in her ad is one the campaign, Harris campaign and corporate media are really seizing on. In the ad, Trump says, we have some very bad people, should be very easily handled by the military. Going to have paratroopers landing in your backyard, wanting to see how you voted. It was taken from an interview he just did with Maria Bartiromo on Fox Business this past Sunday. But the question Trump was asked was whether he was expecting any chaos on Election Day. And the reason she asked him that is that President Biden recently said he's concerned Election Day will not be peaceful. And he's clearly suggesting Trump supporters will be responsible for that. And Ms. Bartiromo in the question poses to Trump, what do you think is going to happen? And in setting it up, she reminds him that since he's left office, many foreign nationals have illegally come over the border. So she kind of raises two issues in one, saying we've got illegals here who are murderers. You'll hear it. And also Joe Biden says we're going to have chaos on Election Day. So what do you think? And you will hear in Mr. Trump's answer, he is talking about possible Election Day chaos, which she raised and Biden raised, in reference to leftist radicals and the potential use of the National Guard and military if things spin out of control. Listen.
What about that, though? Are you expecting chaos on Election Day?
No, I don't think so. Not from the side that votes for Trump.
But I'm just wondering if these outside agitators will start up on Election Day. Let's say you win. I mean, let's remember, you've got 50,000 Chinese nationals in this country in the last couple of years. Yeah. You have people on the terrorist watch list, 350 in the last couple of years. You got, like you said, 13,000 murderers and 15,000 rapists. Right. What are you expecting? Joe Biden said he doesn't think it's going to be a peaceful Election Day.
Well, he doesn't have any idea what's happening in all fairness. He spends most of his day sleeping. I think the bigger problem is the enemy from within, not even the people that have come in and destroying our country. By the way, totally destroying our country. The towns, the villages, they're being inundated. But I don't think they're the problem in terms of Election Day. I think the bigger problem are the people from within. We have some very bad people. We have some sick people, radical left lunatics. And I think they're and it should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military, because they can't let that happen.
It makes perfect sense what he is saying. Who organized all these protests on college campuses? People like George Soros, who funded the tents and wanted chaos on the campuses because he wants a very different agenda than a capitalist free society like we actually have here in America. What do you think she's talking about there? What do you think Donald Trump is thinking about? He's thinking about the chaos that Joe Biden says is going to happen on Election Day. Maria's saying, yeah, there could be. What would you do? And he's saying, I would not let that shit spin out of control like we've seen in other situations, right? He's saying, if I need the National Guard to maintain order around an election, then I will use it. He's not saying he's going to go arrest people who vote for Trump in their home. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, you know what they do. Here was Vice President Harris and Governor Tim Walz last night thinking they got a live one. Watch.
Americans who don't support him. Just to be clear, if any of your neighbors or friends or anybody thinks about that, you know who he's talking about? He's talking about you.
He's talking about the enemy within our country, Pennsylvania. He's talking about that he considers anyone who doesn't support him or who will not bend to his will an enemy of our country. This is among the reasons I believe so strongly that a second Trump term would be a huge risk for America and dangerous.
Could you please stop? could you just please stop? All right. Because the man's already had 2 assassination attempts. And that kind of rhetoric is not helpful. You know you're lying. The media complied. They lied too. It's such bullshit. Anyone who does not support him is going to get arrested or get a visit from the military. Sure. Okay. There's a lot at stake in this upcoming election, as you know. But regardless of who is sitting in the White House, the fuse on this volatile economy has already been lit. Even 4 years of a conservative presidency might not be enough to turn the tide on our $35 trillion national debt. And if the left wins, it's like throwing gas on a dumpster fire. But one thing you could consider is to protect your savings by diversifying into gold with the help of Birch Gold Group. For millennia, gold has stood firm in the face of greedy governments, economic upheavals, and global strife. And it can protect you right now. Birch Gold will help you convert an IRA or a 401k into an IRA in physical gold, tax-free and penalty-free. And it doesn't cost you a penny out of pocket. In the past 4 years, the buying power of the US dollar has declined, and the price of gold has increased 40%. Text MK to 989898 to learn more. They'll send you a free info kit on gold, and you can check it out for yourself. Consider Birch Gold to protect your savings with its A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, and just text MK to the number 989898. Birch Gold. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.